Good morning. If you're here for meditation, I invite you to settle in. If it's comfortable for you, you can close your eyes. Just allowing yourself to rest in whatever way works for you. Focusing in on your breath. Just allowing yourself to breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And as you breathe, just releasing this day, releasing this moment, allowing everything to drop away. Right now, there is nothing else you have to do. There is no place else you have to be. It is all right to just be here now. Be here now. Allow your mind to cease from its busyness and simply rest. Simply rest as we enter into the music and the silence together.
Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. 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 We come together in the name of love. We come together. 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 We come together in the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. 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 We come together in the name of love. We come together. 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 We come together in the name of love. Every walk of life. Every walk of life. Every creed and color. Every creed and color. In kinship we unite. In honor of God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, Namaste, I bow to you. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. We come together in the name of love. We come together. 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 We come together in the name of love. We come together. 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 We come together in the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. We come together. We come together in the name of love. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm gonna let Spirit love me now. I'm worthy of this love. I'm gonna let Spirit love me now. I'm worthy of this love. Let Spirit love me now. I'm worthy of this love. I'm gonna let Spirit love me now. I'm worthy of this love. Spirit loves me.
Spirit loves me.
I know that.
I know that.
Spirit loves me.
Spirit loves me.
That's a fact. Oh, I'm gonna let Spirit love me now. I'm worthy of this love. I'm gonna let Spirit love me now. I'm worthy of this love. When I'm down, I turn to you.
I turn to you.
When I'm down, pull me through. Oh, I'm gonna let Spirit love me now. I'm worthy of this love. I'm gonna let Spirit love me now. Worthy of this love. I'm worthy of this love. I'm worthy of this love. I'm worthy of this love.
Yes, you got to do the jazz hands with that, right? So good morning, Ahava Center for Spiritual Living. Ahava is the Hebrew word for love. And we gather together every Sunday knowing that love is... That's right, you got it. I'm Reverend Rainbow, your co-spiritual director, along with Reverend Sunny, who is taking a lovely Sunday morning off. And we welcome you here today. If you are joining us online, please say hello in the chat and let us know from where you are tuning in. Make sure as well to hit that like, share, subscribe, all the buttons so you can stay in touch with what we have going on here and share the love with your friends online. And if you're in the room, feel free to get out those cellular devices and check in and share, take pictures, all the good stuff. We welcome that here. So who are we? We are a conscious community committed to curiosity so that we may provide a loving space to be reminded of the truth of who we are. We are open and affirming community. So whoever you are, wherever you are on your path of discovery, know that you are absolutely welcome here. So I invite you now to take a moment and to turn to someone, perhaps with your hands over your heart, and say, thank you for being a reflection of me. And we have a wonderful vision and purpose here, so I invite you to repeat after me. We are an inclusive community. Committed to global transformation, through personal evolution. And our purpose, we can do it together. Wake up, step up, and make a difference. That's right. And today's affirmation, if you want to also repeat after me, is I rest in divine joy. I rest in divine joy. And so it is, yes. And if you are a guest joining us for the first time, whether if you are in the room or online, we especially welcome you here. Know that your presence here makes a difference because all of our energies come together and get to co-create this experience that we're having right here, right now. So if you're in the room, we have a gift for you from one of our core council members. All you have to do is raise your hand, let us know that you're here. We won't embarrass you too much. So do we have anyone here for the first time? All right, well, let's all give ourselves some love. Thank you. And we are so grateful for the many people that come together and serve this wonderful community, that this community is built on volunteers. So thank you so much for all of you who serve on our wonderful teams, whether it be the media team, the greeter team, the youth team, all of that allows us to be who we are able to be, and we are always open to more volunteers. And with that, we are excited to announce that our annual, what has been in the past, Save a Brunch, is coming back this year as we can gather in person physically again. And what this is, it's our volunteer appreciation. And this year it's going to be a little different because instead of having a brunch, we're going to do an outside barbecue. So that is coming up on Saturday, April, do I have the date? 23rd, yes, so save that date. And with that, you know that we give out a Volunteer of the Year award at this gathering. So that means that the voting is opening this week. Everyone gets a chance to put in a vote and nominate someone that you think should be the recipient of this past year's Volunteer of the Year. There's a form online where you can do that, and then we're going to be having something here in the community room as well where you can set up votes. So look for that coming this week to place your votes. Also, some big changes coming up that we are super grateful for. If you've been paying attention, you notice that the COVID wave is now kind of back down. Not that the pandemic is over, but we are kind of out of that peak red zone, which means starting in April, so in just about 2 weeks, we are going to be making masks optional. We are also going to be, yay, some people are real excited about that. We are also going to be bringing back our fellowship time after service with coffee and tea and even food. So those of you who have contributed in the past, I know that I've been missing some of those deviled eggs that were always here. So that is coming back also in April, and we're going to be doing fellowship outside as much as weather permits, which also just gives us, a little bit more breathing room, so to speak. And we are going to be opening the doors on Sundays at 10 a.m., so you can come in. You no longer have to come directly in this space. You can come in through the community room, get here a little early. We will then open the doors so that you can come in and start meditation at 10:15 and follow from there. So just a few changes that are coming that we wanted to give you a few heads up on. And so that means that our hospitality team is in the process of rebuilding. If you would like to serve on that team, we are definitely in need of more folks to help support hospitality after service. Take a breath. That was for me. Okay. Some more fun happenings. On Wednesday nights, we have our meditation and metaphysical discussion that is continuing to be online, and it's at 6:30 on Zoom. Today starts the 21-day Money Keys Jumpstart. So if you are looking for a way to jumpstart your financial and spiritual vitality, this is the program for you. Karen Russo, author of The Money Keys, has so many tools in place that it is amazing. It is an online program with every day, there's things to print and fill out little prompts every day. There's audios and videos to watch. And then, starting today, we're going to kick off with the online experience live. And every Sunday for the next 4 weeks, we will be online with myself and Reverend Karen for live coaching and assisting people through this process. So it's like a boot camp. It's like a financial boot camp with a spiritual basis. So if that's something you're interested in, you can still sign up. It's at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Today is the first one. Go online and check it out on our website, our social media pages, on our email, all the places. I mentioned the Save a Barbecue coming back. Also, April 3rd, that's first Sunday in April, we are celebrating our first homegrown minister, Reverend Cynthia Chinquina's installation into our community. So we would love to see everyone here, and let's really make this a fun celebration. We're going to be providing a cake, but let's do a full-on potluck, y'all. So bring your friends, masks will be off, we'll be outside, and we're going to have a big meal, and we're going to get love up and celebrate Cynthia. You'll also get a chance to see all of us in our formal robes, and not like a hot tub robe. All right. Okay, so focus. Just a few things going on here, y'all. We have next Sunday a fun, awesome, really cool experience with plant music. What? What is that? So we have a guest coming in. She happens to be my mother-in-law, and she's a super cool lady. Love you, Janice. She is bringing this machine that has electrodes or something that goes on plants. It takes the energy, the vibration from the plant, puts it in a synthesizer, and it plays music. Yeah. So you can come, and she's going to do a workshop, explain how this works, and do a little concert. You can even bring your own little house plant, and she'll play it so you can hear the unique song of your own plant. It's all on donation basis. Next Sunday after service, and during service next Sunday, she's going to be doing this with our youth. So super cool. And improv is coming back. Woohoo! Central Kentucky Improv, which includes our very own Louise Talon and Margot Buchanan. They will be performing here Friday, April 22nd, and I believe ongoing from there to be determined, yes? All right, last but not least, this summer we have a wonderful series coming up, and I believe one of our Taste of Ahava team members is going to come tell us all about it. Yes, give her a hand. Kathy Jones.
Up here. Oh, there we go. Good morning, Ahava.
Good morning, Kathy.
Oh, I love being up here looking out and seeing
Right?
everyone.
Let's get you a little closer so I can hear you online.
All right, that sounds good. So I have a question. How many people are totally ready to come out of hibernation and get together in person and have some fun? Woo! I am.
So
for
ready.
Sure. So, a Taste of Ahava is going to provide an opportunity to do just that. And you may be asking, what is a Taste of Ahava? It is going to be a series of 6 to 8 fundraising opportunities from June to September. I think that's right, yeah. And what we're looking for are volunteers to step up with a creative idea, something fun, some talent you have that you want to share. Like if you like to cook, plan a meal, a picnic, a cookout or something. I don't know, I'm thinking, if you're musical, if you want to perform, put on a nice little concert, and we've got this yard right out here too. So if you're not comfortable having people to your house, if you don't have the space like I don't, something out here, would be awesome. I've heard a couple of other suggestions of like someone leading a guided meditation. I love those. Or a yoga class. Start thinking. These are just a few suggestions to get you to think about something. And all we need is a seed. Plant the seed. Talk to me. Talk to Mary Bachman. Where are you? Right there. Is Carrie back with the kids?
She's online today, yes.
Okay, Carrie. And you guys online too. I mean, we want to hear from you. What would you like to do? What are you good at? What would you like to contribute to this? So applications, we've got them in hard copy here, but they're also on Breeze, on Facebook, and I don't know, maybe on the website too, I forget. But anyway, yeah, throw something out there, and then one of us will get back with you, and we'll brainstorm some more, and we'll come up with something. So I think this is exciting.
Yes.
I am ready to hear from all of you guys. Let's get together and taste and see that life is good here at Ahava.
Woohoo! Yes. Thank you, Kathy. So excited for those summer events to come. And how it's a fundraiser is that the host then, pay for the food and the expense and all of that, so that then later we'll sell tickets for the events, and all that money will come to Ahava. And you can have co-host if you want, get some people together. So we have some fun stuff coming out about that, and I'm super excited. So grateful for the team that is helping to put that together. All right, let's give some love to this band, y'all. We love our musicians. So grateful for our music director, Joe Cinquina, also on bass. We've got Lauren Dechtenberg on keys and also doing our reading. Mr. John Dittert on drums. Oh, today we also have another John here on guitar. So grateful for that. And Kim. So Kim is our special vocalist, but you also may know Kim and John together as the duo called Fireflying. So we're grateful to have them here. And of course, Mr. Jeff Watts on sound, making us all sound good. And our practitioner today is Louise Talon. So let us now drop into that space, taking that nice deep breath as we move into our centering song and opening prayer.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. And I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said. And right here in this holy silence, I find God. I find myself. In the silence there is peace. unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said. And right here in this holy silence, I find God. When I find myself,
I take this moment just to anchor into one. I breathe into one, knowing that oneness is all there is. That oneness that expresses as infinite diversity. Knowing that oneness right here and right now as love, as beauty, as joy, as freedom, as power. Knowing that whatever is the truth of that one is the truth of me, is the truth of each beloved hearing my voice and those beyond. And I anchor into that as I bless this moment. I bless this service. I bless the words of Reverend Rainbow, knowing that she speaks with the inspiration of the holy spheres. I bless the sounds and the voices of our musicians. I bless all of those who have come together to unleash those sparks of holiness in this place. I bless this day, knowing that it is good and very good. Knowing that we are here in love and as love, simply the divine seeing the divine. And knowing that, I allow it to be by saying, and so it is.
so I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said. And right here in this holy silence, I find God. Oh, I find God when I find myself.
Today's reading is by Dr. Ernest Holmes from The Science of Mind. Peace be unto thee, stranger. Enter and be not afraid. I have left the gate open, and thou art welcome to my home. There is room in my house for all. I have swept the hearth and lighted the fire. The room is warm and cheerful, and you will find comfort and rest within. The table is laid, and the fruits of life are spread before thee. The wine is here also, it sparkles in the light. I have set a chair for you where the sunbeams dance through the shade. Sit and rest and refresh your soul. Eat of the fruit and drink the wine. All is yours, and you are welcome.
This looks familiar, vaguely familiar, almost unreal yet. It's too soon to feel yet. Close to my soul and yet so Someday, sun rises, night falls. Sometimes the sky calls. Is that a song there? And do I belong there? I've never been there, but I know the way. I'm going to go back there someday. Come and go with me. It's more fun to share. We'll both be completely at home in midair. We're flying, not walking on featherless wings. We can hold on to love like invisible strings. There's not a word yet for old friends who've just met. Part heaven, part space, or have I found my place? You can just visit, but I plan to stay. I'm going to go back there someday. I'm going to go back there someday.
Yes, I love it. That song is just like so filled with nostalgia. You know, it just brings that. It's from the Muppet movie, right? Muppet movie, yes. Oh, so fitting as our theme this month is on play, right? So it just brings you right back to that childhood, that joy of the love that is present everywhere. So this month, as I mentioned, we are looking at this idea of play. We've talked about joy as an act of resistance, and we've talked about the value of integrating play as a spiritual practice and the healing power of laughter. Did anyone try laughter yoga this week? I know that was one of the, if you look it up online, there's lots of techniques you can follow, and basically you just laugh and you breathe. So what I know is that we each within us have an overflowing capacity for joy, for aliveness, for freedom, for creativity, for harmony. And yet, we have a very human tendency to get caught up in the busyness and the activity of the world and forget to engage in rest and play as an essential aspect of our divine selves. So that brings us to today's topic, transforming hustle culture as a spiritual imperative. So how many times have you fallen to this temptation to glorify the grind of overworking, of hustling, of the busyness, saying things like, I'll rest when I'm dead? I know there's definitely the one in me that has been seduced by this work hard, play hard mentality, and the hustle and the grind and the go, go, go. In Psychology Today, there was an article by Dr. Brian Robinson that says, perhaps nonstop hustling makes you feel important. You have a lot on your plate, and you stand out from the masses because you're superhuman and can do it all. But can you? So I have to admit, when I read that, I felt a little called out, just a little bit. Especially, when I lived in Chicago, I definitely had that sense of my busyness was important. I was important because I had this heavy workload and I had these things that I was doing that I loved to do, and I felt a purpose in my work, and I felt like I was making a difference. And so I sacrificed other aspects of my life because of this hustle mentality and this performative workaholism, that it actually took me physically moving away from that environment to create a shift in my life such that I could see the lie for what it is. The lie of this hustle culture really being tied to scarcity and lack, and began to unravel who this really benefits. And it wasn't me. And it took me moving not once, but twice. I left Chicago twice. I left the same environment, the same center that I was working for twice. The first time I moved to Hawaii, and it took about a year to decompress there. The second time, many of you know that part of the story, it brought me here. So I am so grateful to harvest the learning from that experience and to be in an environment now where I have support in embracing balance and embracing wholeness and rest. See, it's the belief that success must involve working harder, more, harder, longer hours. And it causes this pressure and this urgency for folks to work constantly, and sometimes even more than is even asked for or anticipated. And hustle culture, it promotes this fantasy that overextending ourselves is the way to prove our worth, prove that we are legitimate, or prove a certain status. But what it really does is solidify the idea or the belief that too much is never enough. Think about that. Too much is never enough. And this enoughness only leads to burnout and folks beginning to place their worth and their value on productivity as opposed to our own inherent worth and value. And it's perpetuated all around us in social media, and especially through social media influencers. So for me, as I get older and wiser, perhaps a little bit more mature, or maybe I'm just tired, but it's taken this time for me to begin to disrupt this belief in my own mind and deconstruct the validity of hustle. And there's many different factors in why, for me personally, this has been such a journey of transformation within my own relationship with hustle culture. And I have to say, I'm still a work in progress, y'all, right? And what I have to do is I have to be conscious and consciously avoid, listening to, following, paying attention to certain leaders or entrepreneurial influencers, because I can easily get wrapped back into that energy and the excitement and the drive of hustle culture, right? It has this to it. And also, for me, this, rest and play are often kind of grouped together as this value in various leadership models and teachings. And so it's been tricky for me because I have play down. I have a healthy relationship with play. I can be silly. I'm curious. I can find moments to not take life so seriously. So I think, I've got that down, but yet I'm neglecting the value of rest and play. So I share this with you for you to start to think about your own relationship with these values. I read an article recently about how Gen Z is leading the way in setting healthy boundaries at work and valuing rest and play over the grind. And it's largely due to the pandemic and when we all had to pause and we had the opportunity to reflect on what we really value, to reflect on how we are engaging with all aspects of our lives, but particularly this kind of work life as everything paused. And then what is coming from that, part of what is coming from that is this transformation in the work culture of setting these healthy boundaries and demanding reasonable hours and living wages and calling out this toxic work environment. And these young adults that are entering this workplace now, kind of post this shutdown of the pandemic, are calling for and being that change. And although it's not going to happen overnight, it's starting. So you may be thinking, Reverend Rainbow, what does this have to do with spirituality? I'm here for a spiritual awakening at the spiritual center, and you're talking about work. Well, let me remind you that we are whole beings. We are spirit, mind, and body. And even if your life is one where you are no longer working, perhaps you are retired, there is still a doingness to our life that we can get caught up in. So as we're exploring this theme this year of living everyday wonder in all aspects of our lives, we get to look at our relationship with rest and play. One of the greatest wonders of life is the sense of joy and contentment and peace that comes with rest, with that deep sense of relaxation when we have an extended period of rest. For some of us, this may be more regular, and for others, it may only occur once or twice a year when we go on vacation. That time when we can finally get our minds to slow down, to stop with the chatter of all that we have to do, and begin to engage in this deep relaxation of simply being. And from there, we can begin to confront, possibly, and challenge this lie of not enoughness. Why don't we rest? Because we're afraid that we might miss something or that there's something we should be doing. And all of this simply comes to a belief in not enoughness, not enough time, not enough money. And it's within our own minds that we can be a part of shifting the collective consciousness on this as we begin to confront this belief of not enoughness, however it may show up in our own lives. And through this, we can create an opening for more mystical experiences. So let's break this down. In the Declaration of Principles, Dr. Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of the Science of Mind teaching, which we base our philosophy on here, he says, we believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God or spirit, that divine presence within, right? So just like that beautiful centering song we did about in the silence. In the silence is where we turn within, we listen, and we find that place that has within us that has never been hurt or harmed, that place within us that is that infinite source of love, of life, of light. And it is living in close contact with the indwelling spirit that we can begin to hone our intuition, to listen to that still small voice within. And it requires a willingness to be, to sit in the silence, to be conscious, to be aware, and to take those moments of quietude. Rest and regular substantial periods of rest allows us that time to connect with that mystical aspect of our own being and the world around us. Ernest Holmes also says, to enter the silence is to quiet our mind and enter that place of non-movement. To be still and know that I am God is to enter the sanctuary of one's own consciousness. So rest is needed not only physically for the body. As we know, we've all experienced what happens when we don't get enough sleep, that we need to recover physically, as well as it helps to reduce stress. It is also essential for our soul. So many faith traditions call for this period of rest, such as the Sabbath or Shabbat, taking this time to rest and to simply be. Artists tell us that rest allows us to connect with that inner creativity and to have more capacity to problem solve and be creative and innovative. And corporate researchers show us that rest allows us to be more productive. But I have a caveat here. I want us to resist the narrative that we rest in order to be more productive, because that, again, is tied to that lie of scarcity, of hustle, of productivity, right? So it's a wonderful byproduct that as we rest, we can be more productive, but that's for us. It's not that we rest so we can produce. Extended periods of rest, what do I mean by that? We're talking like a 12 to 24-hour period, at least once a month, where we do nothing. Where we do nothing like go out and be and do these things with other folks, where we're simply allowing ourselves to chill. And it gives us time to delight in the wonder of life, like meaningful conversations with friends and loved ones, periods of extended meditation and self-reflection, or maybe just time to sit and look outside or be outside and daydream and let your mind kind of wander without any agenda or need to be anywhere or do anything. And it may even be doing a puzzle or a mindfulness practice to which you can begin to start to just settle down and integrate all the energy and the learning and the activity of your daily life. So it brings us to a place of balance where we can recharge not only our physical battery, but our mental and our spiritual batteries. The beloved Thich Nhat Hanh says, "We humans have lost the wisdom of genuinely resting and relaxing. We worry too much. We don't allow our bodies to heal, and we don't allow our minds and hearts to heal." So there's no question that we could use more rest. And yet, we resist it. Our frenzied, fast-paced Western culture tells us that there's no time to waste. We need to catch up with what others are doing. There's this sense of urgency to be a certain place in our life, and especially when we start to compare ourselves to those things that we see on social media or our peers and our neighbors doing. I can remember in my 20s and early 30s that I have all these ideas, and I had such a sense of urgency that I had to bring them all to fruition now. But yet, the more I go through life, it's like this weird thing is happening where time actually feels more expansive. And I realize that I don't have to do it all now. I can give myself the grace of creating reasonable expectations based on realistic and sustainable timelines. That's been a huge learning for me, y'all. I don't have to do it all, and I don't have to do it all now. And I haven't mastered this, but I'm grateful to have cultivated a support team around me, many of you in this room, to assist me in transforming that belief, right? So the cult of hustle would have us rushing around trying to counter this belief in lack by doing more in order to prove that we are enough. Yet spiritually speaking, we are more than enough. We are whole, we are perfect, we are complete just as we are right here, right now. Trying to prove that we are not enough by doing, rather than by transforming our mind, is a trap. We don't do our spiritual work from the outside in, but rather from the inside out. We work in this invisible field, and it is then demonstrated in the visible. Life is an outpicturing of our beliefs and the collective consciousness. So as a society, we are constantly being sold the narrative of lack and limitation, that there's not enough money, there's not enough resources, there's not enough time, there's not enough support, there's not enough praise or attention. But what I have to say to this is, what even is enough? Whose definition of enough are we going by? In a world that is constantly growing, we are constantly growing in our capacity of wealth, of access to information and goods and things. There's constantly more and more and more. So who gets to determine what is enough? What is enough? When is enough? It's time to take back our power and to remember that there is more than enough, that we are more than enough just as we are. And as we continue to grow, because we are always growing and expanding, it's the nature of the universe, it's the nature of our life, that we can grow from a place of wholeness, of worthiness, and that there's nothing outside us that we need to determine our worth. Author Anne LeClaire says, "We live in a culture that perpetuates the belief that when we have a lot going on and a lot of excitement, we're really alive. In truth, we are really alive when we can be at peace with our own skin." So just take that in a moment. Imagine what it would feel for you to be at peace within your own skin. This requires taking that time to rest and get to know ourselves, to be willing to sit with ourselves, and to be comfortable with simply being present and falling in love with who we are and that divine presence within. It's easy to get caught up in the rat race, the busyness of life, and we can often use that as a way to hide from ourselves, to avoid dealing with our feelings. If we're too busy, then we don't take the time to heal damaged relationships, to have the difficult conversations, to devote time and energy to the self-reflection that will move us forward in a real way. So it's no wonder that we resist rest when it means we must truly meet ourselves. And perhaps we're not really sure if we're ready to deal with what we find. And this is where it takes courage. It takes courage and vulnerability to embrace true rest and self-awareness. So as I shared a bit of my personal journey with this, I invite you to consider for yourself, what is your own self-talk and beliefs around busyness and hustle and enoughness, rest and play? Have you bought into the hustle culture? Perhaps some, maybe. Do you embrace periods of conscious rest? The first step is to notice, to be aware, to pay attention, to notice what beliefs might be running the show in your life, and even those beliefs that may be just under the surface of your unconscious. But if you're willing to start to pay attention and to notice your thoughts, notice that inner dialogue, notice how you react in certain situations, what your kind of default response is and what your behaviors are. From there, as you begin to see through this lens of truth and self-awareness, you can then have this power to choose to disrupt the status quo, to disrupt those patterns and those habits that no longer serve you, in order to embrace your worthiness, your inherent enoughness, and to stop outsourcing your good and your value based on others' opinions, ideas, thoughts, and things. So why is this a spiritual imperative? Dr. Holmes wrote, "Spiritual experience comes in the stillness of our soul when the outer voice is quiet. It is the quickening of the inner being to an eternal reality." So the quickening is the door to mystical experiences of the cosmic unitive consciousness of oneness that shows us this truth that we are all connected and that all is love. And this isn't something that can be taught. You know, you can hear me say it and say, okay, yeah, maybe. It is really something that is discovered within your own path of willingness to embrace sacred stillness and sustained rest, to commune with that indwelling spirit and become the revealer of truth yourself through your own intuition and sacred knowingness. And it brings us to that place of peace that surpasses all understanding and empowers us to be a beneficiary presence for all that we meet. So transforming hustle culture is a spiritual imperative because it's time to wake up to our inherent power and start living our lives from this awareness that we are all one. So ask yourself, are you willing to make rest a priority? And if so, do you know what that looks like for you? Like, we can be so ingrained in our habits that we actually have to take a pause and look at. What are some of those patterns that we want to consciously disrupt in our life? And perhaps it's time to embrace our sacred no. To set boundaries for yourself regarding your own time and energy. This is how we can disrupt that pattern of the go, go, go. We have to acknowledge our own inherent worth and value outside of what we do or produce. So what would a day of rest look like for you? What qualities of the divine would you like to embody more fully? Peace, freedom, creativity, joy? And how can you honor your soul's yearnings for these qualities and experiences? And again, even if you are retired or not working, how can you create conscious periods of rest? You may not have the hustle and grind of work every day, but are you honoring your sacred right to rest? Are you consciously dedicating time to simply be and in commune with yourself and the divine? Do you value stillness and time to be? And if not, what commitments are you prepared to make to yourself in order to embrace sacred rest? Transformation begins within each of us, and as we begin to create those boundaries for ourselves and honor time and rest and play, we will begin to transform the collective culture one by one. We will be like that young generation that is transforming the workforce now. And I understand that this idea of rest, and especially taking a whole day to rest, it requires certain privilege. Assuming that you can afford not to work a day, or that you have the support for childcare, etc. So if that's you and you're hearing me saying, yeah, that would be great, but I invite you just to start where you are and make a small step. Find an opportunity, even for an hour, of just taking that sacred rest, that me time, and begin to work from the inside out by noticing and transforming any beliefs within yourself of unworthiness, of lack, of limitation, sitting with the knowledge and the power of who you really are, and see how things begin to shift around you. And for those of us in positions of leadership, how can we model rest and then provide others an opportunity for that? So I encourage you to start practicing saying no to that which no longer serves, to slowing down, to being mindful of what really matters. To stay awake, not literally, of course. Sleep and naps are great. But to pay attention and to notice how your schedule is and how you can begin to prioritize sacred rest so that you no longer crave those things that perhaps in the past you needed in order to relax. What am I talking about? I'm talking about TV, alcohol, food, other substances. Those things that in a busy culture we tend to go to in order to relax. Imagine if we give ourselves the time first to cultivate that time so that we don't need those other things that perhaps are not as healthy for our body, mind, and soul. So this week, the invitation is to schedule some do-nothing time for yourself. Take an afternoon, take a day, whatever time you can create in the next 2 weeks, and resist the urge to fill it with things to do, even if they're fun things. The last couple weeks, we told you to have fun, laugh, go do all that. This week, it's a do-nothing time. And if you live with others, make sure that you let them know your plans so that you don't self-sabotage by having expectations that no one else around you knows, because that is just a recipe for disaster. Trust me, I've been there. So make arrangements to provide yourself that time and space, giving yourself the time of block out unscheduled nothingness. Hold that time sacred, because nothing could be more important, and you are worth it. Let's pray. Taking a nice deep breath. And inviting that energy of stillness, of rest, of relaxation, of peace, contentment. Inviting that energy into your field right here, right now. As we know and recognize that there is one life, one energy, one source back of all things that is having its way right here, right now, in, as, and through me, in, as, and through all of life. And that this energy is peace, is joy, is love, is freedom, is creativity. It is all that there is. And therefore, it must be who I am. The very nature of my being right here, right now, is love. It is peace. It is wholeness. I am whole, perfect, and complete right here, right now. And so I know that as I dedicate myself to taking time to honor the divine through sacred rest, to commune with this life presence within me, that everything in the world of form around me begins to unfold perfectly, that all the pieces begin to line up such that rest and play and joy and creativity can be fully expressed in my life. I take the time now to remember who I am. To listen to that still small voice. And to allow love to lead the way in all that I do. Disrupting those patterns, those habits of doingness, of busyness, and embracing the allness and the sufficiency of life energy as me. I allow myself time to be, to rest in peace, as peace. Dropping any agenda of what I should be doing or who I should be or how I should show up, and instead listening to that voice within that reminds me who I truly am. Worthy, valuable, whole, love. This is my divine nature, and this is the truth of each and every one of us. And for this, I am grateful. I am so grateful to recognize this truth. So grateful to know that I can say yes to who I am. I can say yes to love. I can say yes to rest. I can say yes to peace. And trust that everything is unfolding perfectly in my life, that I am fully supported in this yes, backed by the entire universe that always says yes. Yes, my beloved. Yes, yes, yes. And with great gratitude, I release this word, knowing it is done, and so it is. I invite you now to turn to someone, look them in the eyes, and say, I see your wholeness. I see your wholeness. And now say, go take a nap. Go take a nap. All right, I see Amina's eyes. She's like, I wish. Her eyes got big, I wish. Who's going to watch my babies? All right, so we are now moving into our time of conscious giving, and we are going to pass the basket in the room, but if you're online, there's several ways you can give there as well. And even in the room, you can text the word GIVE to 859-209-6996. You can go to the Giving tab on our website, and you can also mail in your gifts to 168 Burt Road, Lexington, Kentucky, 40503. So I invite you now to repeat after me. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I joyously contribute to the vision of Ahava, knowing it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 I'm so grateful.
Take it away, band.
It's all right, riding around in the breeze. Well, it's all right if you live the life you please. Well, it's all right doing the best you can. Well, it's all right as long as you lend a hand. You can sit around and wait for the phone to ring, waiting for someone to tell you everything.
The end of the line.
Sit around and wonder what tomorrow will bring.
The end of the line.
Maybe a diamond ring. Well, it's all right. Playing it wrong. Well, it's all right. Sometimes you gotta be strong. Well, it's all right as long as you got somewhere to lay. Well, it's all right. Every day is Judgment Day. Maybe somewhere down the road away,
The end of the line.
you'll think of me and wonder where I am these days.
The end of the line.
Maybe somewhere down the road when somebody plays
The end of the line.
Purple Haze. Well, it's all right even when push comes to shove. Well, it's all
of the line.
And it don't matter if you're by my side.
End of the line.
I'm satisfied. Well, it's alright, even if you're old and gray. Well, it's alright, still got something to say. Well, it's alright, remember to live and let live. Well, it's alright. Well, it's alright, riding around on the breeze. Well, it's alright, if you live the life you please. Well, it's alright, even if the sun don't shine. Well, it's alright, we're going to the end of the line. We love you, you're a shining star, wonderful, just the way you are. We celebrate your sacred flame. We love you just the way you are. We love you just the way you are. We do.
Hi everyone. Today, they're really proud. So today we did a lesson based on Thich Nhat Hanh's A Handful of Quiet. Yeah, I think so. A Handful of Quiet, and we did a pebble meditation. And so each kid picked 4 pebbles out of our jar to represent water, space, mountain. What other one am I forgetting? Flower.
Flower.
And they each represent different things.
Yeah.
Flower seeing the freshness,
I love it.
new eyes, seeing people as God. We practiced our pebble meditation.
Cool.
We practiced our pebble meditation in a circle together, and what did we do? At the end of our meditation, what did we do?
We bowed to each other and said namaste.
So we practiced, we saw the God, recognized the God in each other, and we would like to share our affirmations with you. And peace.
I am peace,
And I can quiet my mind.
and I can quiet my mind.
And Remy, what?
I can quiet my mind.
Yeah. So if you missed the youth program today, we have extra packets for you. If you are a parent of one of these children, they have a little part on their page to finish with you at home and to fill in so they can talk to you about it and teach you about their pebble meditation. We are going to go outside and play, so that's where you need to get your kids today. Thank you.
All right. Give them some love. Yes, beautiful. So a reminder that today, the 21-day financial spiritual vitality jumpstart online is at 4. You can still sign up. We have practitioners that are available to pray with you. There's a prayer box by that back door as you leave. Make sure you fill out a prayer request. And next Sunday, the plant music workshop. Tell your friends, everyone's invited. Let's fill this room. It's super, super cool and unique. All right, so I invite you now to stand for our benediction and repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
It's this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in rest. I accept it. I am it. I share it. Just the way it appears. And just the way it appears not.
Just the way it appears now.
Thank you, life.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. want to thank everyone for coming out today and for tuning in online. Don't forget next week, Plant Music. We're going to see if they can play Freebird.
Let me love